This is the oldest Marriott in the world, and this is my short review of it. I stayed here for 2 nights during a bitterly cold British winter. Watch and find out what I thought of it. The hotel is located just outside the city of Derby, which is in the East Midlands. However, it's on the border of the Peak District and much of Yorkshire. One thing to be aware of when using Google Maps is that the hotel is marked in the incorrect location. The actual entrance is slightly further down the road. The hotel itself is a Delta branded hotel, having previously been a full Marriott hotel. Delta branded hotels are more of a 4-star affair, and especially in the UK seem to have taken over some aging hotels that weren't quite deserving of the full Marriott name. Now on to the review. You're greeted by a long drive into the hotel. If you're coming by public transport, then you will have to walk this, which can be quite difficult with luggage. If, however, like most visitors, you're driving, then you will eventually reach the hotel car park where the reception is located. The main entrance is an impressive old listed building. Although the site dates back to 1266, not all buildings are from that original date. The building has been extended over the past several hundred years, with only some parts of the original remaining. The original architecture of this part of the building is still here, with the reception just after the front door. From here, there are stairs and corridors leading to the rooms. Initially, the layout can seem like a maze, but you soon get used to it. There was even a portrait of some of the Marriott family members on the wall. I believe this is father and son. I did say that the layout felt a bit confusing at times, but as long as you follow the signs, you'll eventually get to your room. My room was on the far end of the site, and therefore it was easier to drive to the car park next to it and go in via one of the entrances there. Now let's show you the rooms. Overall, I was disappointed by it and can understand why the site was rebranded as a Delta. It's not as nice as some of the other Marriotts I've been in. Firstly, there's a lot of dark wood about the place, aging it more than it actually is. This part of the wing looks like a more recent build, probably built in the 80s or 90s. However, the overall decor makes it feel much older. The bed itself was comfortable enough, but the bathroom was probably the worst part of the room. A modern bathroom can go a long way to make a room feel modern. There's no separate shower cubicle and the tiles looked cheap. They did, however, include some toiletries. There's a hairdryer, tea and coffee making facilities, and a safe in the room. There's even a fan, which I would imagine would be required during the summer, as there's no air conditioning in the room, just a simple wall heater. For breakfast, you had to walk through the corridors to the reception area. Although a long walk and not suitable for wheelchair users, there were some interesting things along the way. The entire history of the place was explained on this wall. It was an interesting read. Breakfast was at the restaurant called Cast Iron. This is located on the ground floor of the main part of the building with views over the grounds. The room had many of the old stone walls. I'm not particularly sure which era it's from, but it definitely looked like it's several hundred years old. I like how a lot of the detailing had been maintained, such as the windows and wood panelling. The food itself was limited, but ticked the usual options such as meats, eggs, cereals and bread. Not a huge selection, but adequate enough. After breakfast, I took a walk around the grounds of the hotel. Suffice to say, it's huge, mainly because it's part of a golf course, which is its main selling point. I can imagine it would be quite nice on a summer's day to simply walk the grounds and take in some of the nature. In fact, there are several paths laid out for visitors to explore. As it was winter, the paths were covered with fallen leaves and didn't look appealing this time of year. I can imagine for golfers it would be a draw, or if you're into your history. Most of the building you see here is part of the extensions that were added on in later centuries. Only very small parts from the original 13th century remain. The wings with the rooms where I was staying look to be from around the 1980s or 90s. My main reason for staying here initially was that I was looking for a hotel with spa facilities. This was advertised as having one. Unfortunately, I didn't get to have any treatments as they were understaffed. It also turned out that the massage area is in a separate small little room separate to the swimming pool and sauna area. Next, I'll show you the gym and swimming pool facilities. Let's start with the gym. It's separated into 2 areas, with one being dedicated to weights and the other to cardio machines. It does seem that it also operates as a paid-for membership gym. It's perfectly adequate for a hotel gym. In fact, some of the machines did appear to be new, which is always a plus. Hotel gyms can be quite sparse as they're usually an area difficult to balance. On one hand, you want it to have enough equipment for the occasional visitor. On the other hand, you don't want to spend too much on it as you effectively don't see any returns from this. Hotels like this which offer gym memberships recoup some of the costs, so can therefore justify spending extra on good equipment. Now let's take a look at the swimming pool area, but before that let's take a quick look at the changing rooms. The hotel does provide guests with towel upon entering the swimming pool reception area. The changing rooms have plenty of lockers and shower cubicles. The swimming pool area consists of a large single pool, jacuzzi, steam room and sauna. This was probably my favourite part of the hotel considering how warm the jacuzzi was during a bitter cold snap Britain was having. I would have liked to have had this in combination with a massage, but unfortunately it wasn't to be. Having been disappointed by the spa, what did I think of the hotel overall? Well, it's difficult to ignore some of the other disappointments of the hotel, such as the room. I felt it was outdated and needed some serious investment to bring it up to modern standards. I felt I was the wrong target audience for this hotel. I would imagine this sort of hotel appealing to a golfer due to the golf course, or someone who's really into their history and likes the idea of staying in a 13th century hotel. Although that isn't strictly true either, as only some parts of the hotel are from the 13th century. Would I stay here again? Probably not. It gets a 2 out of 5 from me.